To sit back and enjoy the action. It's Aston Villa against Celtic in the Champions League with James McFadden and Liam McLeod.
Thanks, Kenny. The 77th meeting between a Scottish and English club in European competition, and the third in just over a month, as Celtic come to England's second city, Birmingham, to face Aston Villa, who under Unai Emery have cranked things up a notch over the course of the last couple of seasons. Just listen to that. What an atmosphere. Matchday 8 in the Champions League in this new league phase, which has been, certainly for Celtic, a resounding success as they look forward to knockout football in this competition for the first time since they played Juventus back in 2013. The same season they slayed Barcelona. They're still chasing the small chance of a top 8 finish. It looks extremely unlikely. However, a victory here will leave them between 5th and 15th. A draw would see them finish between 13th and 22nd, with a defeat leaving them certain of being unseeded, and between 18th and 23rd. We shall see how it goes. Well, they've won 3 matches in this competition this term. They last won more than that in the European Cup in 1973-74, when they won 4 on their way to the semi-finals. It's been an outstanding campaign, given what had happened in recent terms. So the Celtic side tonight, of course, without some familiar names. Cameron Carter-Vickers out injured, Daisen Maida out suspended, Kyogo Furuhashi is in Rennes in France now, so it's Schmeichel in goal, Johnston, Trusty, Scales and Taylor, Engels, McGregor, Hatate, Kuhn, Yang, Idah. Villa, Martinez in goal, Cash, Konsa, Bogard and Digne, Tielemans and Kamara, Bailey, Rogers, Ramsey, and Ollie Watkins leads the line, still looking for his first Champions League goal. That will very much be his goal this evening. Villa 2 through to the next stage. Lost in Monaco last week, but won their opening 3 matches in the tournament, which has given them a really good platform. They've still got designs on that top 8 as well, as the Celtic players go into their huddles to the right of the centre circle. We're up high in the heavens here in the Doug Ellis stand, which is opposite the dugouts. The mightily impressive Holt End off to our left, which is akin to the yellow wall of Dortmund. This fabulous stadium, which it holds around about 43,000. It looks like and feels like and sounds like a lot more than that. Celtic in their change kit, it's a dark green with white flashes, kick off right to left against Villa in their famous maroon and light blue with white shorts, and it's out with Taylor on this near side. He rolls it back to Scales, who squares it to Trusty. What an occasion this is, James McFadden.
It's incredible. The noise levels have cranked right up, as you would expect. And look, Aston Villa fans are trying to make it as hostile as they possibly can, but I don't think Celtic will be fazed by the atmosphere. As you said, you know, they've played in some pretty intimidating places. It's about coming in and playing your game and getting off to a good start.
McGregor firing it out to Hatate in the near side touchline, knocks it forward to Idah. Those two combined to good effect with the late winner against Young Boys, though it was an own goal. It was all about Hatate and Idah. So Hatate picks up midway inside the Villa half, finds Johnston, who's a booking away from missing Celtic's next match in the competition. This Taylor finds McGregor, but his pass towards Yang goes out to play for a Villa throw-in down on this near side. First feel of the ball here for Matty Cash, born in England, but he's a Poland international. And breaks to Tielemans, Belgian international, to Martinez, Argentina international and World Cup winner, Copa America winner. Villa pick up over on the left-hand side with Boubacar Kamara, the Frenchman from Marseille. It's dropped into the midfield on this near side and slipped out to Cash. He's driving down the right flank. Little ball infield to the Jamaican Bailey. He's dancing towards the edge of the area. Rolls it to the edge of the D, but it breaks down and Celtic pick up. They were swarming all around the Celtic box where the villains there as Hatate gets on to Idah's flick, and there's a brilliant run forward by Yang, but firstly the pass was too late, and secondly there was too much on it. Comes right through to Martinez. Goalless in the infancy here at Villa Park.
Yeah, and it was a great break from Celtic. You know, Villa starting with the ball from goalkeeper, they work it into a position in and around the box. Bailey coming off the right hand side with his left foot, his favoured left foot, and Arnie Engels with a terrific recovery run. And then Celtic play up to Idah, a little flick inside to Hatate. Yang had made the run left. I think Kuhn was right as well, but he just couldn't get out his feet. Then it was an overhit pass, but it's good from Celtic because they've shown they'll go in the defensive transition, get back in numbers, and also have that opportunity to hit in the break as well.
Kamara's dink ball down the left-hand side for Luca Digne. He's got serious quality in the wide areas, the French fullback, as it is pulled back towards the edge of the box, and there's their opportunity. He's pulled across and in! Villa score! The early salvo that Celtic dreaded is dumped into Schmeichel's net by Morgan Rogers. Good work down the left, Digne involved, it was cut across, and Rogers lashes the ball home from about 7 yards out, and it's Aston Villa 1, Celtic 0 inside 3 minutes.
No, it's devastating from Aston Villa. Really good play. Jacob Ramsey over on the left hand side just takes up a position in the pitch. Alistair Johnson goes with him. Kuhn doesn't match the run. Digne, and then you know the slick pass and the speed from Aston Villa. The ball's whipped across, and Rodgers just puts it into the back of the net. It's a devastating attack from Aston Villa.
Yeah, it's exactly what Celtic didn't want, because this place was rocking before that ball hit the net. And then it goes. It's a good finish by Rodgers. It's his 8th goal of the season in his England debut in the Nations League in November. So he's having a season to remember, and he's given Villa the lead here early on against Celtic as Trusty rolls it back to Schmeichel and then just slipped to his left for Liam Scales. He's at level with his own 6-yard line. On the touchline he finds Taylor, and then it was Hatate's ball back in towards his own box, was almost picked up by an Aston Villa player, and they've won it back again here. Konza's come all the way to the midway point of the half, and Rodgers has another goal! It scores again! A wonderful goal that was! Morgan Rodgers has scored twice in less than 2 minutes, and Aston Villa have doubled their lead, and we're still in the early part of this match. This could be a long old night for Celtic the way this has started. Aston Villa 2, Celtic 0. Schmeichel, for some reason, couldn't get anything on it. Wasn't in the corner.
No, I know, but there was a deflection on it, on the shot. I mean, this time it comes to Celtic having the ball, but Aston Villa put them under pressure. And the ball goes back to Schmeichel. His only place he can put it up the pitch. Adam Idah doesn't get in front of Konza, and they work it so that the pass comes to Ramsey. It's beyond Scales. He can't win it. He can't get close enough. He does try and get back, but the deflection on the shot takes it beyond Schmeichel and actually takes a bit of the pace off it. So I don't know if Schmeichel's made the move to go and dive to his left and actually starting to dip and take a bit of the speed off it and just gets it wrong. But you know, it's a dream start for Aston Villa. It's a disaster for Celtic, but they have to call on their experience of Dortmund and not allow that to happen to them in this game.
Hatate down the left-hand side. Yang is giving chase, but Celtic not even 5 minutes in and 2-0 down. Extraordinary. Yang has it as he pokes it back outside the Villa box to McGregor, then to Hatate. Now it's Callum McGregor on this near side. Can Celtic strike back immediately? Remember, they did strike back immediately in Dortmund, but the roof caved in, and Scales knocks the ball to the edge of the box, but it's easily cut out, and Villa are able to clear it up towards the midway point of their own half, where it breaks to Greg Taylor on the left. He shifts it in field to McGregor into the centre circle for Trusty. It's a dream start, isn't it, for Morgan Rodgers in particular, as Celtic come forward. The long ball towards Idah comes all the way through to Martinez. It is Villa 2, Celtic 0. If you're just joining us, 6 minutes played.
Yeah, Morgan Rodgers is the top player. He's been a real star performer for Aston Villa. and he was, someone you're looking to say he is the danger man. And it's a dream start for him, as you say. He get the 2 goals, especially so early in the game. It was 6 minutes in, 2-0 to Aston Villa. And Celtic just need to get their composure, which I think they have done, to be fair to them. But Villa still showing how threatening they look on the break when they have the ball.
It's Villa in possession with Konsa taking it up towards the halfway line, rolling it out wide right for Cash. Yang's chasing, Cash driving down the right hand side, gets the ball into the box, Scales gets it half away. Watkins takes it down, rolls it back to Tielemans, out to Dini on the left. They'll pinch it back. Celtic straight in about there as the offside flag goes up, and it will be a free kick to the visitors deep inside their own half, and they're in deep trouble here at Villa Park. Or Celtic here, that 2-goal salvo in as many minutes from Morgan Rogers. And he arrived here, he began at West Brom. Manchester City signed him 5 years ago in a season at Middlesbrough, as Celtic come forward with a long ball. And it's Idah in the box. He's right hand side of the 6-yard area. It's cleared, but Kuhn shoots and it's wide. Well, he rubs the back of his head in frustration. Martinez was frightened enough by the effort to dive at full stretch to his right, but Kuhn's off target after really good play by Adam Idah. He bulldozed his way into the box, pulled it back across from the right hand side of the 6-yard area. It broke back to Kuhn after the clearance, but he couldn't find the target. Stays Villa 2, Celtic 0. Rodgers on 3 and 5 minutes. Yeah,
Adam Idah does brilliantly. Down the right hand side, Konsa comes over, he just bullies him, knocks him to the ground. For me, when he picks the ball up, he has a look up. He must be able to see there's no one there. He still fires it across. Maybe, his teammates not expecting him to get on the end of it, so credit to him for that. But I think he could have drove inside and maybe try and get a shot away himself. And in any case, it comes to Kuhn. As he hits it, he's cutting across it. It's almost like catching at the outside. He's always going away from goal and not troubling Martinez.
Well, he's got problems at centre-back, Unai Emery. I thought he was going to play Bogard beside Konsa. He's put Kamara in there, so Bogard is in the middle, in the midfield. Celtic get a free kick and it's a much-needed respite as Johnston's fouled midway inside his own half.
Yeah, I was surprised at that myself, Kamara midfielder, but obviously trusted enough to do the job and still a very good player, but it's somewhere, an area that Celtic have to try and exploit, get down the side, because it's a different run when you're playing as a central defender as you are a central midfielder.
Taylor out onto the touchline for Yang, midway inside Villa territory. It's back to McGregor, squares it left to right of the circle for Johnston, out onto the touchline for Nicolas Kuhn. He's got Engels ahead of him. Johnston had made a good run in towards the edge of the Villa box. It wasn't spotted though, and it's way back into the centre circle for Scales, who shifts it to the right there for Trusty, forward towards Engels. Engels trying to hold off Tielemans, out to the touchline there for Johnston, and back to Trustees. The familiar strains of Super John McGinn echo round Villa Park. The captain and Scotland international on the bench tonight for the home team. Here's Yang down this left-hand side, level with the penalty spot, shows too much of it to Leon Bailey, who wins it back, and then it's moved to Cash, then to the edge of the box, breaks to Konsa on the byline, and Bogard knocked it back into his own area. It's a little bit of skill there from Konsa, just dinking the ball off over Yang's foot, and Villa able to clear easily. Scales has to do some backtracking. He manages to shift it back to Kasper Schmeichel at the edge of his box, and he had to get there because Jacob Ramsey was all over him, looking at some kind of sniff of winning possession back in an attacking position. It's Villa 2, Celtic 0 on 10.5 minutes. It's a long Celtic ball, comes all the way through to Martinez, who holds on at the edge of his box. It's going through the head of Brendan Rodgers just now, do you think?
Well, I think he'll obviously be shocked at the start his team's made, but he'll be looking at how they can improve, how they can get at Villa and cause them problems. And I don't mind what's just happened. Alistair Johnson picks the ball up and he just tries to bend one in between Luca Dean and Kamara for Idah, because Villa are playing, when they go as a team, and they're playing a relatively high line. There is space for that pass. It doesn't have to be perfect, and that is where Celtic can get at Aston Villa. What's going through his mind right now is do not concede another goal. Don't let this game run away from you as much as it did in the Dortmund game, because it's 2-0. It's not ideal, but there's still a possibility. If you get the next goal, you can build something.
Here comes Nicholas Kuhn driving down the right hand side. He's got Idah waiting for the touch in the middle, and then it just bounces off the outstretched leg of Boubacar Kamara, and behind for Celtic's first corner of the evening. They trail 2-0 as things stand in the Champions League, and the draw is on Friday. It will be Dortmund or Madrid as it stands. Real Madrid, as Callum McGregor picks up and rolls it with a left boot low out to Engels on the far side, and it's Kuhn's a good ball, and it's over his own bar there from Kamara, and Celtic have an immediate second corner on this near side.
That's a brilliant ball from Nicholas Kuhn. Picks it up just in that inside channel, whips onto the left, and it's just a click to the back post. It's Scales, Trusty and Idah in that area. Kamara does really well to flick it over the bar, but Celtic having a little bit of joy now.
Arne Engels over the corner on this near side. The Holt end behind Martinez's goal. Engels waits to take in-swinger with the right boot coming up here, and Celtic have committed plenty forward. Scales is in there, Idah's in there, Trusty's in there. In comes the corner from Engels towards the back post. It's flicked behind for what would have been another corner by Bogard, but there was a foul on Martinez, and that will be a free kick to Villa inside their own box. Villa 2, Celtic 0, and absolutely rocked and rattled in those opening 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, just it happened so fast. So yeah, look, it's a tough start for Celtic. They expected probably to get into the game, and always your focus is don't let the opposition get off to a fast start, which Villa have, and now they can play with a bit of control. You know, looking at them over the last number of weeks, and you can see, you know, the amount of games does have an effect on them. But when you go 2-0 up, you forget about that, and you can have your control in the game. Celtic, I keep saying it, they need to make sure they don't let it run away from them. And if they can get the next goal, there's still loads of time left.
They're not the only ones having a nightmare start. Red Bull Salzburg 2-0 down to Atletico Madrid. Simeone and Griezmann with the goals in that one on the final night of the inaugural league phase in the Champions League, and it's Konza for Villa just to the right of his own box, and he rolls it back to Martinez. Cesri Konza, he's another who's been a regular England international in recent times. A long ball forward, just evades the head of the goal scorer, the double goal scorer Rodgers, but he's going to get onto it here, right of the centre circle, into the Celtic half he goes. Now it's with Cash. Bailey is outside him on the touchline. Instead he turns back the way. It's a simple ball back to Bogard, the Dutchman, and now finds Konza, who takes it at walking pace into the centre circle and rolls it to his left there for Kamara. Now to Digne on the far side. Again to Kamara, sweeps it into the centre circle for Konza. Ball forward is touched back immediately by Bogard. First time to Cash, he goes back to Martinez, and then out to the left hand side for Kamara again, and Villa just popping this around. Celtic can't get a touch.
No, they can't. And I said, you know, that they've got that fast start, the 2-goal lead. They don't need to go and chase. They're just waiting for that perfect moment where Celtic overcommit and they get the space in behind, whether it's in between midfield and get to that back line, or just right in behind, which looks like they're going to get it down the left hand side.
It's a brilliant spin there by Ramsey. He gets out to the left, and it's now with Tielemans getting it from Digne. Now it's Rodgers who's on a hat-trick, moving to the edge of the penalty. This is ominous for Celtic. It's pulled back and Scales throws it away. Cash picks up, takes a touch, is encouraged to shoot and does, and Scales blocks it, and out it goes for an Aston Villa throw-in level with the Celtic 18-yard line. That was lightning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying about them knocking the ball about, just waiting for that right moment. The movement from the Villa players to draw players out and try and, you know, exploit those gaps, and then the speed at which they move the ball and they run forward. They look so dangerous every time they go forward, and they have so much control when they have the ball.
Matty Cash with the throw in front of the Celtic supporters. 3,000 of them have tickets. And inside the stadium, it's a long throw into the penalty area. Scales gets something onto it. Trusty helps it away. Now it's with Tielemans. He's touching it back there to Kamara. It's a long ball, flighted back out to the right-hand side. Cash with the first-time ball to Bailey. Almost managed to squeeze it through to Rodgers. Celtic able to get it clear. Now Ida's in the chase. He's going to win the battle. He's on the ball. He's on the right. Two Villa defenders back. Idah has it. Right-hand side of the box. Powerful run from him. Pulls it across. And Martinez flops down onto the ball and gathers. Hatate and Yang couldn't keep up with Idah. It was a great burst of pace as well, because Boubacar Kamara is not able to stay with him. It stays 2-0 Villa though.
Yeah, it was a great run initially from Idah, and he slowed Kamara down a little bit. I thought he was maybe going to try and cut inside and get the shot away. So as you say, he's running at full speed. He's the furthest man forward. Difficult to keep up with him.
Cash down the right-hand side, level with the Celtic 18-yard line. Just rolls it back the way to Kamara, and infield to Tielemans. Little ball along the grass to the left, and the pitch looks terrific. I'm sure the players will be enjoying that surface out there. It's pulled back infield to Kamara. Just stands over the ball and waits for an option. Celtic closing him down now. Into the centre circle for Konza. Out to this right-hand side with Bogard. Side football back to Konza. I don't think Unai Emery was particularly impressed with the performance against West Ham. 1-1 draw here at the weekend. The performance lacked the energy he was wanting to see from his team, and it came off the back of the defeat in Monte Carlo a week ago. So, I mean, they're coming out fired up tonight.
Absolutely, and you can see that in the play. You know, it's not forced, but when they go, it's just the speed in which they go, the numbers they go forward, getting in behind Celtic, getting options when they get into the box, and they've got crossing opportunities. But also when they have the ball, they just have so much control.
As it stands, Aston Villa are skipping the knockout playoffs, because the as it stands table has them 6th. Celtic currently in 21st spot. Now it's with Trusty. Roll to the left of the centre circle for Taylor. This is going to update continuously through the night as it comes to Yang, but as it stands, it's now Leverkusen or Feyenoord. That would probably be a better result than Dortmund or Real Madrid, but there's so many permutations that will occur between now and full time in this game. Villa 2, Celtic 0, and we played 18 and a half. It's Yang infield, but he loses out to Cash, and now it's with Konza just inside his own half, and Cash will roll it back to Martinez. Just outside his box. Short ball to Kamara, and then rolls it side foot to Tielemans. Now it's through to Rodgers in the centre circle. Along the halfway line was the pass to the left. Now it's with Tielemans. And then shifted by Bogard out to the right for Leon Bailey. Faced by Yang. Bailey steps in field and rolls it back to Lamar Bogard again. And now Cash, and Celtic are seeing precious little of the ball, and this is another example of it as Villa go from right to left to right through the middle, trying to find a way through to secure the victory even at this relatively early stage. Cash has it right of the circle on this near side, and he goes back to Konza. Hatate tries to close him down as it's moved out to this right-hand side for Rodgers. Infield it comes, and Bogard popping it through. Chance here, perhaps for a flighted ball from Ramsey out to the left. It's a beautiful ball. He's found Digne on the far side. Kuhn with a block, and Kuhn nicks it off. Look at Digne, former Barcelona player. Now it's infield to Hatate, who's 4 Villa players around him, and he made the challenge. He was out for a Celtic throw-in, but if Rio Hatate thought he was going to get time in the ball tonight, there's a prime example of why he won't be.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you know, look at Dean get down the left-hand side. Again, you know, the space is there, but Kuhn does well. When it comes into Hatate, their hunger just to win the ball back and go in numbers, is especially, you know, in the kind of middle third of the pitch, more towards the Celtic attacking, so they can maintain the attack, so they don't allow the pressure to ease for Celtic, so they can keep it on and maybe catch players out of position, and also have your own players, in Aston Villa's case, in and around the box that cause problems.
Just joining us here on Sports Sound, BBC Radio Scotland FM. And on Sounds, Aston Villa 2, Celtic 0, Matchday 8 in the Champions League phase. The 2 early only goals in 3 in 5 minutes from Morgan Rogers, the English Premier League side in the driving seat. And there will be a free kick to the home team deep inside their own half. And it's with Kamara. This walking pace out of defence here. Throws it back to Martinez, who's a pretty flamboyant goalkeeper. He's a little bit of a throwback, actually. He made some big saves in that World Cup run that Argentina enjoyed in Qatar in 22. The long ball for Watkins is cut out by Austin Trusty. He doesn't really know what it is, trying to get back onto it, but Bailey's all over him and Villa ransack him. And then there's a foul by Trusty, left-hand side of his own box, about level with the 6-yard line. And that's, again, another example of Villa all over Celtic like a rash here, approaching the end of the first quarter of it. Villa 2, Celtic 0.
It's the right winger and the left back of Villa that's putting Trusty under pressure, forcing a mistake. So when they go forward, they're playing what looks like a 4-2-3-1, but when they have the ball, they're so fluid. Bailey will come off the left, off the right, and find up a position. Ramsey will come off the left. The both full-backs will go, and it's difficult then for Celtic to ease the pressure. Trusty, as you say, it looked like he didn't even know where the ball was, and he's just a bit of desperation facing the byline, and he just makes a foul because he's under so much pressure.
Right, free kick Villa, and an opportunity here. On Bailey's back post with Watkins. They've got 3 or 4 in the 6-yard area, and Yuri Tielemans is over it. He might even go for goal himself here. It's a 2-man wall. It's a very tough angle for him as he dinks it into the 6-yard box. Celtic get it clear. It's only half away. Cash volleys for goal, and it's blocked and then cleared by Nicholas Kuhn, and Villa have it back as Idah rolls it all the way through to Martinez. Midway inside his own half, pings it high out to this near side. Too high though, over the head of Bailey, and out for a throw-in for Celtic and for Greg Taylor on this near side. Taylor waits to take.
You get the feeling that Villa have some gears to go up, especially when they're going forward. They play with so much control, but when they go forward, they just look so dangerous.
Well, I mean, we know the standards that Celtic set in Scotland. Aston Villa have high standards these days. They've come on leaps and bounds under Emery, and you look at the atmosphere around this club. I mean, this is a club that's been up and down quite a lot. They're European Cup winners, of course, won it in 1982. Peter White scoring the only goal against Bayern Munich in Rotterdam. Went on to beat Barcelona to claim the Super Cup later that year, but there's not been too much to shout about in European terms for them since then. And of course that excellent league campaign, finishing in the top 4 last season, they're still within striking distance of achieving that again this term. They're in a good place.
Absolutely. And I think that you look throughout the years.
It's a slack ball, and Hitati might be onto it, but it's a weak effort which Martinez holds on. That was an absolute gift. What a dreadful pass back towards his own penalty area it was. Was it Idah? I didn't even have my eyes on that, because it looked as though he was going to. I was looking to see who he was going to pass to forward. He's ended up going back in towards his own box, and Hitati's onto him. It's a timid effort.
I'm thinking he could only be trying to chip him with how lack of power that he put into it. I mean, he's just clipped that into the hands of Martinez.
There's Watkins, lovely turn, driving forward. He's got options to his right, rolls it out to Matty Cash. He's at the right angle of the Celtic box. On the right, on the left, crosses towards the back post, headed half away by Trusty, off the post, and Schmeichel manages to keep that from crossing the line. I mean, it was mightily close. Ramsey got the final touch onto it. Schmeichel, he was panic-stricken there at that far post. He's eventually managed to hold on to it after it bounced off the frame, and it stays Villa 2, Celtic 0 on 25.
Yeah, he didn't know where it went there, did he? Schmeichel, and it's a dangerous ball in. Matty Cash threatening to go down on the right. He cuts back on his left foot and just clips it to the back post. Trusty wins the header, but there's so many Villa players in the box that they pick up the second. Ramsey just swings at it, and somehow it crashes off the post and into the arms of Casper Schmeichel.
It's right in the goal line as well when it dropped back down underneath his crossbar. As Trusty picks up in the centre circle. Remember, tomorrow tomorrow night, Europa League, Rangers against Union Saint-Gilloise of Belgium as they try and make inroads there. As Engels comes forward, fires it across. It's another poor ball straight into the gloves of Martinez with Idah in behind him, but the quality was sadly lacking there as Engels brings down his man. It was his international teammate Tielemans, and it will be a free kick to Villa left in the centre circle. Villa 2, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it was a great run from Engels, showing good pace to get himself free down the right hand side. He had one option and one option only, and Adam Idah, who had peeled towards the back post area, and he's trying to just fire that beyond that defensive line. Just gets too much height on it, straight at Emi Martinez and goal. But it was a good run from Engels.
I mentioned those big saves at the World Cup, 2 saves in the quarter-final against the Dutch in the shootout as Villa come down the left-hand side with Digne in the kind of inside area. It's now an opportunity for Bailey, right-hand side of the box, pulls it back, scuffed effort by Ramsey. And Celtic are able to clear their lines as it breaks out to Bailey again on the right-hand side of the Celtic box, faced by Taylor and Yang. Bailey rolls it back the way, touched back by Bogard to Konza. Villa have a man down on this near side. I think it's Cash who's gone down. Didn't look like he was involved in a challenge there. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he's, I think, going to have to get some medical attention here. Villa leading 2-0. But the thing is, Celtic have had a couple of little opportunities just in the last few minutes that will offer them encouragement. You've got to take these opportunities, at least test Martinez. You're talking about one of the best goalkeepers in world football.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, you know, the Hatate one's the big one for me, because he's got time and space. He could potentially take another touch, drive forward, get a better angle. But I don't know if he feels it. You know, you mentioned earlier when the ball comes into midfield, and you're saying he's not going to get time. Maybe he's feeling that someone might be coming, and that makes him tense up in that moment where he doesn't quite kick it the way he wants to. I can only assume that he's trying to chip him to the far post. That is the big chance. Engels cross for Idah. He's trying to get it absolutely perfect with a lot of power, probably in the knowledge that as Martinez hits in goals and knows he has to get it absolutely spot on. But you're right, they've had a sighted goal. It will give them encouragement, but so Villa.
Someone's going to be very, very happy on that touchline over there. As Villa are making a change. Matty Cash is going to come off on the looks of things, and John McGinn, who wanted to start this, well, he's not managed to play in the first 29 minutes, just about. He's going to get a good hour here, having just returned from a hamstring injury. He will be the club captain here, and he is going to come on for Cash, and it will be a rejig for Emery as far as positions are concerned. But John McGinn's getting his chance.
Yeah, he's not had to wait too long, has he? It'll be interesting to see what Villa do here in terms of who goes to right back. Look like it may well be Bogard that's going to the right back, certainly taking up that position at the minute. There's no doubt John McGinn will be going in that midfield. He'll be driving forward. I'd imagine there'll be a few shots from John McGinn. He'll be desperate to get a goal. Desperate.
Yeah, and he's getting the captain's armband from Kamara. And John McGinn, 73 caps, 20 goals for Scotland, and we know he's one of just a handful of Scotland internationals to get over the 20 goal mark. He's been such a talisman. We know Steve Clarke is here. And we also know that those Nations League playoffs are on the horizon. He runs into it. He's so determined to get on. He ran into the back of Luca Digne on his way on. Celtic trailing 2-0 here. We played half an hour. Bang on that now. Game on again. Konza rolls it forward to Tielemans, and then to the left-hand side for Kamara. Dinks the ball forward, looking for Digne. He does so much attacking. Does Digne? I remember watching him at Easter Road last season in the Conference League qualifiers, where he set up the first goal, and that's what carved things open for Villa at Easter Road that evening. Watkins headed home a brilliant cross, pinpoint, and doing it throughout his career. Celtic win it back on this near side with Taylor, who is challenged there by Bogard, and goes out of play for a throwing off Taylor last for Aston Villa. this near side.
He does really well initially, Greg Taylor wins the ball back, but he's so intent on going back the way. He doesn't realise there's actually space to run forward. There's not a great amount of options in front of him in terms of passing it, but just drive forward, make someone come back, and you could win a throw-in.
Oh, it's another loose one. It's Konza this time looking for McGinn. Celtic have at the edge of the box, but there's another poor decision. A misunderstanding between Yang and Hatate. McGinn will let it go behind for a goal kick to Villa. Villa 2, Celtic 0.
I think the signs are there for Celtic. They can get themselves back into the game. Villa a little bit slack with their passing there. I suppose, you know, the tough thing for Celtic is when they're getting these opportunities, they're round about the edge of the box. You need to try and trouble the goalkeeper, get a shot and goal, pick that right moment, that right pass.
Unai Emery over there, he's come up against Celtic before. It was one of only 2 away victories. He was in charge of Spartak Moscow as Villa come forward to the edge of the penalty. It's rolled to Bailey. Watkins has his big chance, and it's blocked brilliantly on the line by Alistair Johnston. Schmeichel's beaten there. It's a goal all day long, and but for Alistair Johnston, it would have been. There's a wry smile on the face of Ollie Watkins, who's waiting for a first Champions League goal goes on. But that looked 3-0 all day long, but it stays at 2.
Another devastating attack down the left-hand side. Once again, Jacob Ramsey getting away from Alistair Johnston, who he knew he was beaten, but what he doesn't do is give up, because when it's worked to Ollie Watkins, he goes for it looks like he's going to take a touch and smash it. Schmeichel comes out, tries to make himself big, he just goes for a little dink which goes in towards the middle of the goal, but Alistair Johnston getting back like all good defenders, not switching off, not giving it up, and stopped a certain goal that would have made it 3-0 and mission impossible for me.
McGregor out to Engels on the far side, back down the line to Johnston, and now to Trusty at the edge of his own box. He was looking for Scales, he's eventually found him though. Scales had to leg it out to this near side to get onto it. It's a long ball from him. Idah will chase, Konza's covering, and he rolls it back to Martinez. Emiliano Martinez is rolling it short there to his left for Kamara. Infield to Tielemans, and back to Martinez again. Celtic, have they bedded in this game? Are they in this match?
Yeah, they're in it because it's 2-0. Villa haven't been able to find the breakthrough, and Celtic have had a couple of half chances, if you like. So of course they're still in it.
Engels down the right-hand side, level with the Villa penalty spot. Johnston gives him an overlap option. Instead he turns it infield to McGregor. McGregor squares it to Kuhn. He turns it back to Scales. To the edge of the centre circle, to the right for Trusty. Johnston makes himself available. That's where it goes. Now it's back first time to McGregor. He finds Scales left of the centre circle, and then along the halfway line for Greg Taylor. Taylor back to Scales, and back to Trusty. Villa just pushed Celtic all the way back into their own half here. Johnston has it, knocks it up the line. It's off Ramsey, and out for a throw-in to Celtic, run about the halfway line. 2 managers out there. We're on the opposite side of the stadium from where the dugouts are. Brendan Rodgers to the left, Unai Emery to the right. Both stand on the edge of their technical areas. And there is thrown up the line by Johnston. Comes back off Ramsey, now for another Celtic throw. They've advanced up to about the midway point of the Villa half. He's bowled forward towards Idah, trying to spin away from Kamara. He's taken it out to the far side. It's a poor ball infield to Johnston though. And Ramsey's onto it, back helping his defenders. And now it's with Rodgers, the man who's got both goals. It's Celtic 2 behind here. Here goes McGregor, right hand side of the Villa box. McGregor digs it out back to Engels. Engels then squares it to the edge of the centre circle for Scales. Short ball to Taylor. Taylor out to Yang on this near side. Yang steps in field, finds a Tate. It's a good bit of football this. Now he's got it back out to Taylor on the left level of the 6-yard line. Pulls it across, and he does knocked it in. Celtic right back in it in Birmingham. And it's a wonderful move as well. Beautifully sculpted by the Scottish champions. As it came down the left for Taylor, across to Idah. It's an unorthodox finish, but it's got the 3,000 Celtic supporters in Villa Park roaring. Down below us to the right, Idah steps up on the biggest stage of all final, and it is Aston Villa 2, Celtic 1, and it is game on.
That's an excellent goal. Really good play from Celtic. There's been a few occasions they've worked it down the right hand side, not really put the cross in, and they work it all the way back out to Scales, to Yang inside, and Greg Taylor with the overlap. There's a deflection on the cross, no doubt, but it's a really good finish from Idah, because he has to react. It's up high, he gets his leg up and just pokes it into the back of the net. But you asked me earlier, was Celtic still in the game? If they could get the next goal, which they have done, then of course they are. They need to be wary of a reaction from Villa at this point in time, but they've got themselves into a position where it didn't look as bad as what it did after 4 or 5 minutes.
Well, you did fear for them because they were 2-0 down after 5, but that has given them a chance again. Even if they were to maintain this till half-time, they'd be happy enough with that, I would imagine. Long ball for Villa, Schmeichel reads it, comes away from his box and rifles it high up the pitch. Watching two fine goalkeepers in action tonight, Kasper Schmeichel and Emiliano Martinez, and Schmeichel's ball comes all the way through to his opposite number. Villa 2, Celtic 1, 37 on the clock.
They still have that outlet, Villa, down the left-hand side. We look at Dean, the runs he makes, he just goes, and the space is there because Ramsey's occupying Alistair Johnson. He's taking him inside a little bit, allowing Dean to go, and for a large part, Nicholas Kuhn is matching him, but for other parts, he isn't, and Dean is on. If they can find that pass, then it can cause Celtic problems.
Engels finds Kuhn. Kuhn now driving down the right-hand side. Haven't seen much of this in the game, but he's taking on Luca Digne down that right flank. He's level with the penalty spot, rolls it back infield to Hatate. Out to the touchline for Kuhn. Johnston gives him the option again, but he rolls it back instead to McGregor. Infield to Engels, a lovely little flick. Here's Hatate. Oh, it's going to be glorious. He does it, and he scores! That's outstanding! It's absolutely outstanding from Celtic! I mean, that is a Champions League goal and a half that Idah's just scored, and he's now scored twice in a space of a couple of minutes. Wonderful down the right, pulled across for Idah. There was back heels and tricks all over the place there, and Idah had the pleasure of finishing it off. He's got 2 goals in the space of a couple of minutes. He's up to 10 for the season, and that will feel absolutely brilliant for those Celtic supporters. It is Villa 2, Celtic 2, and the Scottish champions have absolutely stunned Villa Park.
Well, for all the praise we give Aston Villa for their attacking play, their devastating attacks, that was unbelievable from Celtic. Tremendous. Nicholas Kuhn taking the ball on a run, getting a bit of space. When the ball gets played into Arne Engels, his vision to see the pass, it's a little back heel, he gets back to goal. It's a little back heel into the path. I think it was Hatate that made the run, and Idah peels to the back post. It's a brilliant cross and a good finish for Adam Idah. This is quite incredible.
That's astonishing. So Rodgers' goals were on 3 and 5, and Idah's goals were on 36 and 38. Remarkable, absolutely remarkable. 36 and 38 it was. He's got 2 in 2 minutes. Rodgers got 2 in 2 minutes at the other end of the half, and we've got a remarkable game of football. This all happened since John McGinn came on. This is not what he was dreaming last night. This was not in his script.
It's his fault.
Well, I tell you what it might well have done is the balance of the Villa team. They've moved. It's not John McGinn's fault, quite clearly, but they've lost their right back. They've had to shift Lamar Boubacar out to Bogard, out to the right back position. And they're maybe just a little bit imbalanced just now. I mean, this is... Unai Emery must be absolutely stunned over there.
Yeah, well, I think it is. You know, Matty Cash coming off, and that little shift. I also think, you know, Celtic have got themselves into positions where Kuhn's driving and getting further forward. Arne Engels is getting further forward. Hatate's getting forward. Idah's in the right position that you want your striker in the box ready to go and affect it. So I think there is, you know, a little bit of both. Having said that, you know, Villa still have that opportunity to get down the side. But for Celtic, the great thing is 2-0 down after 5 minutes. It looks like, oh, this could be a long night, and they've managed to get themselves into a position I don't think too many would have thought was possible from 2-0 down. So full credit to Celtic. Lots of talk before the game about Kyogo. Was Adam Idah the man to replace him? You're not getting carried away because you're half an hour into the game, but he's got 2 goals in this stage. Fair play to Adam Idah.
Scales, oh, he's just left his mark on John McGinn. He's gone down, clutching his left knee. Scales, it was as robust a challenge as it comes. And McGinn, he's getting back to his feet here. Scales is making sure he's all right, and it looks like there's no damage to the Villa number 7 and captain. He's back on his feet, and I think Liam Scales has done well to avoid a booking there.
Absolutely. Maybe more in initial viewing. He was a bit late. Well, he was very late. He was forceful with the challenge, but clearly it looked far worse from up here than what it actually was. Otherwise, the referee would have taken action.
Celtic currently just out of the seeded positions for that knockout playoff round as it stands at 2-2. Free kick, Yuri Tielemans takes with the right foot into the Celtic box, helped on its way by Kamara, comes off Taylor, and Idah sweeps it clear and out for a throw-in as the ball lands in amongst the Celtic supporters. It's party time for them right now.
Absolutely. They'll be in dreamland. The team has managed to get themselves level, and good goals have scored as well through good play.
The quality of both Celtic goals has been
tremendous.
Yeah, the build-up play, outstanding. And it's what you want from your big number 9, is to be in those positions to capitalise, and Idah certainly did. I was going to say it's maybe the best he's felt scoring a Celtic goal, but of course he scored the Scottish Cup final winner, so that would top that, but
maybe another one from tonight may top that.
Know. Now there's another challenge on this near side. Bogard is down, just getting himself back to his feet, and it was late. We actually, just so you're aware, we don't have monitors here, so James is unable to see replays clearly because the monitors that are up here in the gantry, they're way over to our right. On behalf of our TV colleagues, we can't really see them. As Tielemans picks up, just trying to hold off Engels, who brings it down. And that's been some battle, those two there. Belgium international teammates, and it's not the first time Engels has brought Tielemans crashing to the ground. And that's going to be a free kick to Villa. We've played almost 43. Villa 2, Celtic 2. This has flown by.
It sure has. And it looked like it was going to be an extra long night for Celtic, for the fans, to get themselves back into this position. Absolutely tremendous. And the game is well and truly on now.
Rodgers for Villa on this near side. Moves it back to Bogard just inside the Celtic half. Infield to Tielemans and then back to Konza. He rolls it to the left for Kamara. Short ball forward to Ramsey. Pushes it back to Kamara. He's taking it forward. Idah trying to stick with him. Kamara has it. He rolls it back to Konza. So important for Celtic to get in level at half-time here. Just over a minute away plus stoppages. Here's Rodgers on this near side. He'll have worked it from left to right. Rodgers shimmies away from both McGregor and Yang. I mean, there's 4 or 5 challenges. He was just about beating them all there. He eventually goes down, no free kick, breaks back to McGinn, who finds Tielemans. Engels just nicking it off him again. He's not getting much change out of his young international teammate Tielemans tonight. Here's Taylor on the near side. Long ball, Yang gives chase. Bogard's there when he decides to roll it back to Martinez. Celtic almost at half-time, and you would have had long odds 5 minutes into this game. They would have said Celtic would be level at the break.
Oh, without doubt. I don't think even the most optimistic Celtic fan would have felt at that point that they could get themselves level, a chance to go level going into the break.
A good play by Callum McGregor. He's knocked it off Bailey and out for a throw-in, though Bailey thinks it should have gone his way. Long ball from Scales, which is nodded back to his goalkeeper by Kamara. Manchester City, by the way, trailing Club Brugge by 1-0. And, I mean, they're on the precipice of Champions League elimination, which is incredible.
It is incredible. I mean, they've had
3 added here.
A ridiculously poor season as it is. But, I mean, you would think no matter how bad they've been, that they'd be able to win a home Champions League tie to keep themselves in the competition, no matter who it's against.
McGinn has it for Villa, back to Konza. We're into the first of 3 minutes. Been added on at the end of the opening 45 here at Villa Park. 2 apiece. As Kamara knocks it forward to Ramsey, back to Kamara, forward to Watkins, still inside his own half. Shielding it from Johnston, out with Kamara down the left for Digne. Good challenging by Trusty, knocks it out for a Villa throw-in over on the far side, albeit the flag's gone up for an offside, so Celtic will have a free kick and that will just eat away a few more seconds. And even if Celtic didn't get a point out of this match, it's not the statement victory they want, but it's still a statement coming to a Premier League ground and getting a result. And they have got a good record against English Premier League sides. Their most recent one under Brendan Rodgers, the most recent two draws against Manchester City in his first season, I think it was, maybe second. This would be a great result for them if they can get something out of this.
Absolutely. I think even just coming into the game, a draw is a positive result for Celtic, because people look, we spoke about it as well before the game about the difference in the golf in class and obviously, you know, the level that Aston Villa operate at every single week. To get a draw here before you kick a ball, for me, is a good result, given the fact they went down to 2-0 after 5 minutes. To get back level before half-time is quite remarkable.
Long way to go, of course. The half-time is looming here as Johnston rolls it back to Scales, who turns it all the way back to Schmeichel. Schmeichel then with a dink ball out to this near side looking for Yang. Bogard read it and gets his head onto it, and Bailey's sat Tati down and he knocks it forward looking for Watkins, cut out by Scales, and you can hear the groans of discontent from the Villa supporters. It is Kamara, and now with Tielemans in the centre circle, he pings it forward with the right foot looking for Watkins. He's found him as well, but he's had to go left in the box here. Watkins, Kuhn and Trusty around him. Try and win a late first half corner here. He's rolled it back up the line for Idah, sliding in is Engels, and puts it out for a Villa throw, which is taken quickly. Idah to Tielemans, he's given it away again. Trusty will clear. Unai Emery will be reading the riot act at half time, because it's not just the fact Celtic have scored 2 goals. Villa have coughed up 2 or 3 other chances for Celtic before they scored their first one, so a piece it is.
Yeah, I mean, given, again, you know, looking at the positive from Celtic in their reaction at the start, for Aston Villa to start the way they have,
Corner here,
and drop off as much as they have, and to be pegged back, they will be absolutely fuming.
Aston Villa corner, comes off Johnston, he raced back to try and prevent it from crossing the line, but crossed the line it did, and Yuri Tielemans is over it. In swinging corner, coming up with the right boot here from Tielemans. Dina's there, potentially as another option, but that's the low ball to Dina, takes a touch with the right foot, crosses with the left, and it comes, and there's an opportunity for Konzau, slashes it wide of the left-hand post. A low effort, and it stays Villa 2, Celtic 2, and that should be about it. As we're in the 4th minute of stoppage time, and only 3 were added. Once Kasper Schmeichel rifles this ball forward, it will surely be the half-time whistle, and it will be all square at the break in Birmingham, and that is incredible really when you consider Villa were tearing Celtic apart in those opening 5 minutes. Morgan Rodgers with 2 goals on 3 and 5, and at that point you did wonder if this was going to be one of those nights, one of those heavy Champions League defeats that Brendan Rodgers has suffered over his 2 spells as Celtic manager. But what we saw after that, once they bedded themselves in, and yes, Villa hit the post, could have been 3-0, Schmeichel prevented it from crossing the line, yes, Alistair Johnston racing across. I mean, these things, these little small things in that first half are absolutely massive now when you look at the scoreboard. Johnston clearing off the line from Watkins, because Adam Idah scored twice, and the goals, I mean, the finishes are good from Idah, but the build-up play was magnificent. That's a Scottish team coming to an English Premier League side, popping the ball around them, ripping them apart. Idah got his double, Rodgers got his double. It's been some first half on Matchday 8 in the Champions League as the league phase draws to a close this evening, and of course plenty more excitement to come when Celtic find out who they may face in the next stage of the competition. This evening, half-time at Villa Park is Aston Villa 2, Celtic 2.
Following Scotland's teams in Europe.
Live on Sportsound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Goal! He slides it home!
Non-stop action.
Scotland in for the try.
Non-stop drama.
George Stone for the try. everything you got.
The Six Nations.
Never stop.
Scotland's Six Nations starts right here.
Get all the news and exclusive interviews from the Championship.
The BBC Radio Scotland Rugby Podcast on BBC Sounds.
And catch Scotland versus Italy on Saturday afternoon.
And that is Scotland at their attacking base.
The Six Nations. Watch on iPlayer, listen on digital radio, or ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Scotland Extra.
Is there no escape? I'll tell you something, that voice is everywhere, Pat. Having said that, the good thing is we love the Six Nations. The bad thing is we lose Tom English for a number of weeks. He's away covering the rugby. He is covering the football with us tonight alongside Pat Bonner and myself in the studio. Pat, what a crazy game.
Tom will not get anything that matches this tonight in the rugby. You have a chance. Stay now. Don't go. But anyway,
it'll take something to match this.
This is amazing.
This is a bonkers game.
Liam summed it up. Incredible.
Yeah.
You know, it was a point where Celtic, oh wow, they lose 2 goals at the start. The worst thing that could happen to them at the start, cut up. And then you're saying, oh, don't lose that 3rd goal. And then they hit the post. Ollie Watkins had a chance, cleared off the line. And you're thinking, wow. But you could just see Celtic gradually coming into it. They capitalised on a few mistakes at the back from Villa. Final ball, I'm saying to myself, oh guys, tidy up on the final ball and you're great. You will get goals here. And then suddenly, wow, the 2 goals. The first goal was a really good goal from Celtic, good play down the left-hand side. And then the improvisation from that man, Idah.
Oh.
Wow. To dig out.
Clearly Celtic's number one striker.
When the ball was almost up shoulder height.
Great finish.
Was a brilliant finish from the young man. And then you can see then his confidence is up, isn't it? You know, and then he gets into a great position for the second. Hatate plays a lovely weighted pass into a space for him to just get onto and get Celtic back into a game here that I just thought was going to end up that they had no chance once they lose those 2 early goals. But fair play to them. We talked about, you know, maturity. We talked about how they jump back from the Dortmund throughout the tour. Today was an example of that. Looked as if they were gone, and now they've just got themselves back into the game again. And it's wonderful. It could be a wonderful night for them.
When these 2 early goals were in, Tom, we were sitting here in the studio, we're talking about the pace, the slickness of this Villa side. As Pat said, at that point you felt this could be any number.
Yeah, they looked so sharp, and they just looked quicker to the ball, the speed of thought, speed of movement, the finishing. 2 goals inside 5 minutes. It looked like Dortmund was flashing in front of my eyes, and they just dug in, Celtic, and this is the progression in this team. They dug in. Okay, they got lucky with the one off the post. They got lucky with the one off the line. It was very good defending, but they were under the cosh, big style, and then they just bounced back off the ropes and then land a couple of haymakers on Villa, and it's 2-2. I mean, it's just amazing. The resilience in this team, this would not have happened previously. They might have hung on and maybe conceded a late 1-3, or more often than not, it could have gone to 4, 5 and 6. Sometimes it's gone to 7, as we know. They dug in, they played their football, they believed in themselves, even though they were going through the horrors. And the 2 goals they got were outstanding goals.
James, I know you
brilliant response.
James, you've experienced some incredible highs in your playing career, but in life after playing, and I've said this many times in the programme, I think we're all privileged to have the job that we've got covering these games, and that's certainly the case tonight. This has been an absolute belter, hasn't it?
Absolutely, Kenny. It's just been... I was stunned at the start, like I think everybody else, when Villa go 2-0 up. And then you fear the worst, that it's going to be a long night, it's going to be another Borussia Dortmund. But Celtic, you know, they've found something, I think, since that Dortmund game, and that is, you know, a huge credit to the players and the manager, because a defeat like that is difficult to put behind you and just to move on from it, and they've done that magnificently. 2-0 down, 5 minutes on the clock, and they've had opportunities, and what they do is they keep believing. The Alistair Johnson clearance off the line for me is a prime example of not giving up. You're not beaten. Don't give up. You never know what's going to happen. He clears it off the line, and some of the play from Celtic, the play particularly for the 2 goals, outstanding. And to get themselves back in and Packy's absolutely spot on. Idah, You know, so much discussion surrounding him. Is he going to be the man to replace Kyogo? Are they going to look to bring someone better? Probably. Well, Adam Idah's let everybody know he's here, because wow, his first finish, the instinct to get his leg up as high as he does and put it in the back of the net, and not only that, to be in the right position, and that's crucial for a striker. You look at goals, and sometimes you get strikers that don't score a lot of goals, but because they're not in the right position. If you're in the right position, the ball doesn't come. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. There's a bit of fortune in the deflection, but he's in the right position. The second goal, he makes the right run, and the ball across, and the play leading up to it, absolutely tremendous. But this Celtic have got something now that Tom said, he touched upon, that they haven't had previously. They've got a bit of bottle. They've got character. They can stand up and be counted. They won't wilt under the pressure. And look, Aston Villa still look dangerous, particularly down their left-hand side, and they've looked good. But Celtic have looked good as well, and the recovery from those players to get themselves into this position is absolutely tremendous. Another one for me, who I think has come in for a bit of stick due to the price tag, Arne Engels. I think he's been excellent. Good energy, working back, winning tackles. His little bit of skill for the second goal. He's looked every inch an £11 million player tonight.
And you know, it's all right to have a bit of bottle going out into the pitch to begin with, and to say, yeah, we believe in ourselves. But to have that bottle when you're 2-0 down, and you could be 3 and 4-0 down in a hostile stadium, that's a different level again. So and I'm delighted for Idah, you know, because he got muscled off the ball for one of the goals. Was the first or second goal, second goal, muscled off the ball by Consa, I think. And didn't look great for him. That he wasn't making the runs. He looked like a periphery figure. And an unbelievable character from him.
And that's the key word, and Fadi used that as well, character, isn't it, Pat? Because Adam Idah, the pressure is on him. There's this big price tag. He would see this as a big opportunity tonight. But also, Fadi pointed out Alistair Johnson. I love the attitude. I love the way that guy plays the game.
Yeah, well, listen, you know, he did brilliantly to clear that one off the line. He wasn't so good for the first goal.
Yeah.
You know, he got caught following the player, and the player done him, and the space was exploited in behind him. Then, you know, he probably committed too early to try to get close to the player, and ended up. Then they cut it back, and it was a great finish. That we talked about Rodgers before the game too. Dangerous player, playing in that sort of almost number 10 position, playing off the shoulder of McGregor. Very difficult to pick up unless you see him. And he makes good runs into the box, and he got his 2 goals. So that was it. But yeah, listen, Johnson's a good player, but most of the time he's on the front foot, isn't he, for Celtic?
Yeah.
You know, but Pat, he's not been helped. Kuhn's helped him a lot, but it's look at Dean. It's really good play. As a wide man, you try and take your full back somewhere they don't want to go, and you have to go at times, because he can't pass him into a midfielder because they're all occupied. And then Kuhn, it's not that he switches off, it's just look at Dean's a French international. He's a top player.
Yeah.
He's making that run and exploiting the space, and they're finding it. And look, the recovery at times has been good, but he just keeps making it. So Johnson's kind of stuck. He should really get Kuhn to come back if he can, and maybe just step in the toes of Jacob Ramsey and stand in front of him, so that at the right time they can switch. Kuhn can take Ramsey, Johnson can go out, but at times he has been a little bit exposed, and it's not because Kuhn's not trying. It's Dean's a very good player.
And the movement, and that's the big difference in playing against these type of teams, whether it's European or if you're playing down in England. Those teams have got the quality in their front place, and they will exploit any weakness. So you've got to be a really, really good at what your job is, defending. You know, what Johnson is brilliant at is getting himself forward, getting into great areas. We've seen him score goals, we've seen him, and so on. And Norman and listen, Kuhn's the same. Let's face it. But you now have to be switched on, really sharp defensively, and that combination of the two of them have got to get that right, because these teams will cut you up. Absolutely.
What about that flick by Arne Engels to Hatate?
Yeah,
he takes out McGinn. He takes out Tielemans. It's laid on a plate for Hatate, plays the ball. That's clinical. That's exactly what Villa did in the first 5 minutes.
Yes,
to the same quality. Engels, that was sumptuous. I've watched it about 5 times here. It gets better every time I see it. Beautiful.
And Celtic have those type of players in those forward positions. They can do it given the opportunity to get in there. And they've been in there. They've also, I think, James, you've watched it from the big picture. I think their pressing has been quite good. They've kind of almost kept the front three very tight. If I'm right in saying that, when Aston Villa have got the ball, and they've actually forced Aston Villa into some mistakes?
Yeah, they have. The couple, the Hatate one for me, I still think he's trying to chip him, whether it's the right thing to do or whether he understands how much time he has. But no, they have, and I think that at times Villa have knocked the ball about at the back because Celtic have sat off as a forward line and not sat off as a team, and the gaps aren't quite there, and that's when Villa show their quality and they show their patience to try and move and get that forward pass. But I think crucially for Celtic, and the goals that they scored, if you think Adam Idah when he runs, he's all alone, he runs down the right hand side, he's taking on Kamara, he's getting nothing, no one anywhere near him. A couple of times he's gone forward, he squares it across, nobody anywhere near him. Their goals, you've got Hatate in the box, Engels around the edge of the box, Kuhn's making a run into the box, Idah's there, Yang's getting in off the side, so they're actually starting to now get players forward, and that's why they're getting so much joy, because they're good players. Tom, I think you said it, they're good players. They can, they've shown they can play at this level, they've already qualified. And I think that the big point for me coming into the game was, although you've qualified, there's still so much riding on this game. When you go 2-0 down, if that goes 3 and 4 and 5, all the work that leads into this game, building the resilience, the momentum, the belief, the confidence that you're a good team, that all goes. No matter that you've qualified for the knockout phase, that goes, because that's a tough one. But they've shown that mental strength, that character to come back in and give themselves a right good chance of winning this game. There'll be more goals in this game, I've no doubt about it.
Yeah, we were joined earlier by a couple of Celtic fans. Paddy was one of them. He said Adam Idah just needed that goal. He said, thanks for having me on with my big hero Pat Bonner. Pat is loving this game tonight. And Tom, can I just do the scores quickly, and then you can give us, because you've been chatting all through this half telling us who Celtic could play, so give me a second. So let's go to the half-time scores. Aston Villa 2, Celtic 2, Barcelona 0, Atalanta 0, Bayern Munich 1, Slovan Bratislava 0, Brest 0, Real Madrid 1, Dinamo Zagreb 1, AC Milan down to 10 men, Borussia Dortmund 2, Shakhtar Donetsk 0, Girona 1, Arsenal 2, Inter Milan 2, Monaco 0, Monaco down to 10 men, Juventus 0, Benfica 1, Leverkusen, my screen is just frozen, Leverkusen 1, Sparta Prague 0, Lille 2, Feyenoord 1, Manchester City 0, Club Brugge 1, PSV 3, Liverpool 2, Salzburg 0, Atletico Madrid 3, Sporting 0, Bologna 1, Stuttgart 1, Leipzig 0, Stuttgart 0, PSG 3, Young Boys 0, Red Star 0. So Tom, as things stand, this is going to change a whole lot more. Who would Celtic face?
They would face Aston Villa or PSV at the moment.
Would you take that? Would you say that would be a good outcome?
Yeah, well yeah. A few minutes before that, it was Benfica or Feyenoord. A few minutes before that, it was Lille versus Brest.
You see what we've been putting up with in the studio, guys. So let's get back to our commentary team at Villa Park. Villa against Celtic in the Champions League with James McFadden and Liam McLeod.
The Villa players are back out. We await the arrival of Celtic. In fact, here they come from the tunnel over on that far side, off to the right of the main stand, the Trinity Road stand over on the far side. Callum McGregor leads his teammates out. The last Scottish win over English opposition was Celtic's 1-0 win over Manchester United in this tournament in 2006. That Nakamura free kick, you don't see British battles terribly often, but we've had 3 to watch over the course of the last 5 or 6 weeks. And can Celtic turn this round completely and pick up a sensational victory in Birmingham tonight? We shall wait and see. Aston Villa's first Champions League campaign, one of the group of debutants, including Bologna and Girona this season. They're the 11th English club to feature in the competition proper since it was rebranded in the early 90s. They're of course one of 6 English clubs to have won the European Cup. Manchester City became the 6th to do so a couple of seasons ago. They're struggling to get through to the knockout playoff round, let alone get their hands on the trophy this time around. Villa will kick off right to left in their claret and blue. Celtic in their dark green change kit with white flashes. The French referee Clément Turpin, who's in the middle for Scotland's bitterly disappointing start to Euro 2024 in Munich against the host nation, sent off Ryan Porteous that night as he gets Once the second half started, Celtic left to right, Villa right to left, as they do in the second half. A match is shooting towards the intimidating Holt end of the stadium as Konza rolls it back to Martinez. No changes for either team at the start of the second half. John McGinn did come on for Matty Cash during the opening 45. So Celtic, as they were, Schmeichel in goal, Johnston, Trusty, Scales and Taylor, Engels, McGregor, Hitate, Kuhn, Yang and the two-goal hero Idah. Celtic going to do some defending here. Austin Trustees under pressure from Watkins, rolls it back to his goalkeeper. Schmeichel plays it short to McGregor, who goes back first time to Schmeichel. Signed that 2-year extension last week ahead of the win over Young Boys. It was so crucial, pivotal. Celtic's hopes of getting through, which they did. So Tate's caught on the far side. That'll be a free kick to Celtic. It is 2-2, it's on a knife edge. It was a thrilling first half. What are we going to see in the second, James McFadden?
Well, who knows? Because I could never have predicted what we watched in the first. But Celtic, you know, trying to put Aston Villa under pressure. Aston Villa wanting the ball, trying to get that ball down the left-hand side for Luca Dean again. Trusty does really well. Celtic just knock it about, show a good bit of composure till it comes into Hitate, who gets the foul. But you don't want to be encouraging Aston Villa onto you and pressing you, because they've got such good threat and attacking players.
Dean on this near side, he was trying to pass it to Ramsey. He's ended up passing it to Tielemans. That wasn't the intended target of the pass, but it's worked out anyway for the home team. Here is McGinn to his left for Tielemans. Developed a good understanding over the last few years. Tielemans, who worked under Brendan Rodgers at Leicester. He's passed back down the line to Bogard. Rolls it to the edge of his own box for Konza. It's the opening couple of minutes of the second half at Villa Park. Incredibly, and you flagged this up to me, James, at half-time, and the guys discussed it in the stadium just before they handed back to us, that it could be Aston Villa again in the knockout playoff round, because there is no restrictions. You can play anyone.
Yeah, I mean, that will change, of course it will, but at this point in time, then Aston Villa have looked good. Celtic managed to score 2 goals.
Bailey's had the legs whipped away from him by Yang. It's going to be a free kick to Villa on the far side. The home fans wanting more punishment doled out to Yang over on the far side. And it will just be a free kick to the hosts. It's not back into their own half for Ezri Konza. Takes it into the centre circle. The pressure from Hitate, rolls it out to Kamara and out to Dini on this near side. Flicks it with the outside of the boot. Good challenge in there by Johnston on Ramsey. And now it's an opportunity here perhaps for Celtic to string some passes together in Villa territory. And it's left of the circle there for Scales. Now Trusty. Jacob Ramsey's felt something. He's kind of clutching to the small of his back. He's clutching onto there. So he's going to be okay though. Scales picks up in the halfway line. Hitate goes all the way back to Trusty. And he squares it to Liam Scales. He finds McGregor. Liam Scales got Celtic's first Champions League goal of the season when he headed home against Slovan Bratislava on Matchday 1. Long ball forward there up towards the halfway line. Hitate giving chase, so to Yang, but it's now with Kamara. Shifts it to McGinn, right of the centre circle, out to the right hand side for Bailey. Bailey's going to take on Taylor here. A little step over into the box, pulls it back behind 3 Villa jerseys there, and it breaks really kindly for Kuhn. Out to Johnston on the near side. His long ball sails into the Villa half, where Kamara will touch it back to Martinez. Villa 2, Celtic 2, as the home fans tried to get their players G'd up for this, to try and re-establish the lead that they enjoyed, the 2-goal lead that they enjoyed in the first half, that was spectacularly wiped out by Adam Idah's brace. Here's Dina picking up on this near side from Jacob Ramsey. Engels trying to win it back off him. Ramsey goes back to Kamara, and then into the Celtic half for Watkins. He's going to get the break in the ball. He tried to work the 1-2. It wasn't what he intended, but he's onto it now, and he's driving into the Celtic penalty area. Left-hand side of it. Doesn't manage to get away from Arne Engels. He does a good defensive job, not for the first time tonight. Dina rolls it back to Ramsey. Infield to Tielemans. Tielemans square ball for McGinn. McGinn then to Tielemans again. Out to Digne on this near side, level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box. Back to Tielemans. He squares it to the right, there for Bogard. Forward to Bailey, just towards the edge of the Celtic box. He's forced back the way. And then breaks out to Bogard again. And now it's with Ezri Konsa. He turns it to Kamara. Celtic trying just to get through these opening few minutes in the second half. Villa seeing all the ball right now. Try and work our way through. Chip ball forward down the right for Bailey. Gets away from Taylor. Looking for some space. Good turn. There's another go at Taylor there. Rolls at the edge of the box for McGinn's a lovely ball. Rogers looking to pull it back. Couldn't find Ramsey. Johnston clears. Ramsey appreciating acknowledging that it was the right idea. Just wasn't properly executed by Villa. They were in the Celtic boxes. Tielemans threads it through. Cut out by Johnston. And now it's Hatate. Turns away from Rogers. Tielemans and McGinn taking it out to that far side. Play by Rio Hatate. He's got his team out of some serious duress there. He plays the 1-2 with Scales. Then again, back to Hatate from the Irishman. Scales who has it, and he rolls it to Hatate to his left, about level with the edge of the centre circle. It's a long ball forward, but underneath it there is Konsa. He gets it under control, rolls it out to Bogard on the far side. He's under pressure from Yang. Finds McGinn at the edge of his own box. Now it's with Kamara. We've played 6.5 second half minutes. 2 apiece it remains.
I think the chance Villa had a minute or so ago, when it goes to Rogers, I think he's got to shoot. He's got a good angle. He goes for the cutback. I think he lets Celtic off the hook. I'm not saying he's going to score, but he's in a good position to get the shot away. But Celtic, you mentioned it, Hatate winning the ball back, driving forward, just taking the sting out of that Villa pressure, because Celtic couldn't get it clear. And Hatate was a man to do that. And I think that Celtic have come out of this second half, maybe with the instruction either for the manager or just as a team to say, try and get a hold of the ball, try and play some passes, and maybe not looking to go forward as quick, just to try and, regain a bit of composure in the game.
Well, Yang did brilliantly to keep a ball in play out on the far side, and it's worked out brilliantly for Celtic because Taylor wins the throw-in. And it looked like Villa were going to be able to dump it clear into the Celtic half, and now all of a sudden it's a throw-in level with the Villa 18-yard line. Over on the far side, in front of the Trinity Road stand. Dugouts up the line there, the two managers fixed their eyes on the play and what's been a captivating contest between these two, which remains at 2 apiece. It'll be a throw-in for Celtics, now level with the penalty spot because they got another one. It's Taylor to Yang. He's a player who's waiting for the Celtic career to catch fire. McGregor out to Taylor, down the line for McGregor. He can't keep it in this time though. It will be a Villa ball, level with their own penalty spot over on the Villa right as they go right to left in this second half. And it's the Rogers and Idah doubles that leave the scoreline with 4 goals shared at 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yang's done pretty well tonight, but his issue is, Maida obviously is suspended. Jota's come into the club. His chances are going to get more and more limited.
They, yeah.
But I think he's done well.
Quick free kick for Villa. Now Leon Bailey is driving forward in the Celtic half. He's made it up to about the edge of the D now, and he rolls it forward to Watkins, but that's brilliantly defended by Austin Trusty, who prevents the corner as well and dumps it out for a throw-in. Over on the far side to Villa, level with the Celtic penalty spot.
Excellent defending from Scales and Trusty, because Scales delays, allowing Trusty to get round to cover, and he spots the run of Ollie Watkins and manages to deal with the situation. Good defending for the both of them.
Bogard takes the throw and finds McGinn. Back to Bogard, looks for Bailey, cut out. Hatate has it. Engels is in trouble here. He's lost out to Rogers, who shoots wide. Low effort, didn't really catch it, but you did worry for Celtic there. It was a rare bit of loose, slack play in their defensive third there, and Rogers didn't really catch it as it flies past the left-hand post. Schmeichel's right, stays 2 apiece.
Yeah, when it comes into Engels, I think he can take his touch forward and play a forward pass. He tries to be clever and go for the nutmeg, and Rogers spots it, wins the ball back off him. Initially it looked like a foul, but
great play, Kuhn. Now Johnston, he's going for the early ball here, looking for Idah, but it is well read by Martinez, who flops down onto it. Idah might have been offside actually, in any case.
But Idah makes the run to go to the back post. If he keeps his run and runs straight, then he's in.
from the other end. Rodgers to Bailey. Bailey infield to McGinn, just outside the centre circle. Flashes it to his left here for Ramsey. Jacob Ramsey, who scored against West Ham at the weekend in that 1-1 draw. Tielemans picks up. Of course, Celtic were idle at the weekend. The match against Dundee was called off because of stadium storm damage. That game will be played a week tonight, rearranged for next Wednesday. There's Kamara for Villa. Slides it infield to Tielemans, who does likewise to his right for Bogard. Back into Konza inside the centre circle. And Villa will be desperate to get their lead back. We played almost 11 second half minutes. Rodgers has it, rolls it infield for Tielemans. Looks up, gets the ball out to the right for Bailey. He's got it under control, up against Taylor, level with the penalty spot, level with the 6-yard line. His cross takes a touch off a Celtic defender, comes off Taylor and clear by McGregor. Konza has it again. Another period of extended pressure here by Villa. Out to Bailey, driving down the right hand side at the right angle of the box. Faced by both Yang and Taylor. Rolls it back to Bogard. Forward to Rodgers. Now it's with Ramsey at the edge of the box. Watkins has an 18-yard line. He's back to goal. His pass towards a teammate goes awry. Celtic clear. Picked up by Konza. No ball forward. Tielemans on the spin. Brought down by Endels. And it will be a free kick to Aston Villa. It's been some battle. I said this in the first half. It's been some battle between those two Belgians in the midfield today.
Yeah, it has. Andy Engels, I think he's had a good game. Little mistake in the edge of the box, but that can happen. But this is a period now where Celtic are going to have to be at their best defensively. Villa have really cranked up the pressure. They've got a lot of possession in and around the Celtic box. They can't get the ball clear. They're going to have to defend as well as they have done for this campaign.
57 on the clock. Villa free kick. I mean, it's a good, around about 30 yards from goal, this. Dead centre. Yuri Tielemans can hit these in this kind of distance. He looks like he's setting himself for a shot, but we shall wait and see. He's actually chipped it towards the 6-yard line, headed away by Trusty, and Kuhn completes the clearance. And then Tielemans gets onto it, and he's got to fire it back into his own half to his goalkeeper. Martinez out to Kamara on this near side. Long ball, Kamara looking to switch it from left to right for Bailey. It just skips away from the Jamaican and out for a throw-in over on the far side for Celtic. It is two apiece here. It looked like Tielemans was winding up a shot there, but he was using that as the disguise for what followed, and Celtic perhaps happy that was the little golf chip, wasn't it, towards the 6-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, Tielemans is without doubt capable of hitting the target and troubling Schmeichel from that distance, but the way that they'd split Konza on one side and I think they had Watkins on the other would suggest he was going to hit one of them. Plus they do have Austin McPhee. I don't know if he would be happy with Tielemans hitting a shot from that distance.
They do have Austin McPhee, you're absolutely right. You normally see him out there for the free kicks. He was part of Steve Clarke's setup for a while there. Celtic only won one of their last 21 away games in the Champions League. They've drawn 5 of those, lost 15, winless in 11 since beating Anderlecht under Brendan Rodgers in September 2017. They haven't really been up the pitch too much in the second half, but here they go now. Johnston to the edge of the area for Hatate. First time Johnston at the byline, throws it across, it's cut out. And Kamara's done well there because it looked like he was going to concede the corner. He's managed to dig it out up towards Rodgers. Scales all over him, Scales out of position. He's got to hope here that Rodgers doesn't find a teammate. He has done, and now John McGinn's bursting across the halfway line. Shields it from Engels, rolls it through to Ramsey. It's 2-on-1 all of a sudden. Ramsey pulls it across for Watkins, who scores! An electrifying counter by Aston Villa, and Ollie Watkins scores his maiden Champions League goal to put Celtic behind again. They had no answer there. Scales was out of position, floundering in the opposite half of the pitch, and Aston Villa take full advantage. John McGinn at the heart of it. Watkins at the end of it, and it is Aston Villa 3, Celtic 2.
You could see it coming, Liam. You said that as soon as you'd spotted where Liam Scales was, and look, I don't have a problem with him going there, because Rodgers, if he can get turned and driving at you, that's a whole different problem. He probably doesn't have to go and win it, which I think he tries to do. He's really aggressive, thinks he can nick the ball. Rodgers just turns back inside, frees John McGinn. Arne Engels gets back, but we know the strength and power that John McGinn possesses, and by that point Celtic are out of position. A nice little forward pass to Ramsey. I thought he was going to shoot, squares it for Ollie Watkins, who taps into the back of the net. But you could feel it coming. Aston Villa started this second half very well, lots of pressure in and around the Celtic box.
Well, it's what we're used to seeing Celtic doing domestically when they are hit with a sucker punch themselves in a game. They tend to come right back at you, and that's what Aston Villa have done to the Scottish champions. Ollie Watkins, the 11th goal of the season, and as I said, his first in the Champions League. He scored that Euro 2024 semi-final winner against the Netherlands, didn't he, in Dortmund in the summer. The Celtic have got up the pitch and they've got themselves a corner here. It's a really cheap concession by Aston Villa. It's over on this near side, right in front of the 3,000 Celtic supporters. Villa have just re-established their lead on the hour mark through Watkins.
Yeah, but Celtic were committing bodies forward to the press, and they pressed and mistake. Start the second half, they've knocked it about, not really been that adventurous, but they have to go and chase it again now.
Out-swinging right-footed corner for Arne Engels. And he goes into the 6-yard box. Martinez is floundering. Trusty chases left-hand side of the 6-yard box, and he gets it all wrong and rifles it high out to this near side, albeit Engels has kept it alive incredibly. Here's Kuhn, little chip ball in with the left foot, is cut out, and Villa trying to win it back through Leon Bailey, but Scales is there, and then Johnston flights it out to Austin Trusty. He's in an offside position, and it will stay Aston Villa 3, Celtic 2 for now.
Yeah, it was a dangerous cross from Engels. Martinez felt as if he could come and get it. There's a lot of bodies in there. I'm not sure if Trusty's trying to go for goal or not there, because he puts so much power on it. Arne Engels does really well to keep it in.
Ball, Watkins gives chase. He's going to get there as well, trying to hold him off is Trusty. Trusty's done well. He gets goal side and ball side there of Watkins. Now it's with Schmeichel. It's a loose one and straight to McGinn, who finds Watkins. He can score again. Brilliant save. Still alive for Villa, and Rodgers rifles it past. Goal kick. Villa 3, Celtic 2. Have to say it was unselfish from John McGinn. It was probably the right decision, because Watkins is in a fabulous position himself, and McGinn must have thought about having a go at the goal, because it was gaping there, and that was a real error from Kasper Schmeichel, which he's gotten away with.
Yeah, it was a slack pass into Cal McGregor with bodies round him, and yeah, I thought John McGinn was going to go for goal, and when he squares it, I have to say it's an absolutely tremendous save for Kasper Schmeichel, fixing his mistake, because it looked like Watkins was going to find the back of the net, spreads himself. I was so used to seeing, and a reaction hand comes up to keep that out. It was a tremendous save.
Well, Celtic need to try and prevent Villa from getting another one during this period in the match. They've come from 2-0 down once. You can't see it happening a second time. McGinn wins it back off Yang, and now it's with Bogard on the far side, onto the touchline for Bailey. Bailey gets it forward to Watkins. Celtic here being pulled from pillar to post. Trusty goes in, makes the challenge, and Villa have a penalty. Watkins brought down. Trusty wags his finger at the French referee. Penalty's been given by Clement Turpin. It looked like a dangerous challenge from Trusty, particularly in that area, in his own box. And this is going to be a chance for Aston Villa to score a fourth, unless it's overturned by VAR.
I have to say, initially, I felt as though it was a good challenge. I know it's dangerous, because when you go to ground, you have to make sure you win the ball. We don't have the benefit of seeing it again. The referee's in a good position, and I suppose the question then is, how much of the ball does he actually get initially? How much of Ollie Watkins does he get? But that's the risk you take when you go to ground in the box, especially against a player like Ollie Watkins. You know, he's strong and quick and direct.
Well, we are waiting on the verdict from the VAR. who is Jérôme Brissard. Clement Turpin stands down there, hands on hips, just to the left of the 6-yard box. And as he summons Callum McGregor over to speak to him, he looks like he's pointing to the spot here. It looks like the VAR's happy with the decision that was made. And John McGinn's got the ball in his hand. So it looks as though this penalty's going to stand, James.
Looks like it. As I said, initially I felt as though Trusty got enough of the ball, but clearly he hasn't. If it stands, John McGinn just passed the ball to Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, he has. Very generous from the skipper. Ollie Watkins has had to wait the whole league phase campaign for a first Champions League goal. And he's going to have the opportunity here to score twice in the space of 6 minutes. And you would imagine that this time, if Villa were to open up 2-goal daylight, that it would be too much for Celtic to come back from. For a second time, we head towards the final quarter. On match day 8, Ollie Watkins, right-footed penalty coming up. Kasper Schmeichel's on his line. Here goes Watkins. Oh my goodness, he slips there. And over the bar he goes. Astonishing. I mean, this game is in so much drama in it. Well, that is Ollie Watkins having scored just a few minutes ago. He's not going to want to see that back again. I mean, it's shades of Beckham, isn't it? The slip just as he goes to take it, and it goes over the crossbar, and Celtic are still alive. They trail 3-2.
They sure are, and it is absolutely bizarre. Ollie Watkins steps up, he just slides, double contact on the ball, goes high and over the bar, and it's a let-off for Celtic. You're looking at, this situation and saying, if Kasper Schmeichel can save this, it could be a huge turning point. Ollie Watkins has missed. Celtic need to try and get more threat going forward, because they've been sitting back. Aston Villa are cutting them open at will at the minute. They have to try and get something to build the confidence to allow them to go and attack and potentially find that equaliser again.
I mean, that's got to give them belief now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to have to take so many positives from that, because that goes in, as I said, you couldn't see them repeating the trick, could you?
No. I think that you couldn't see them repeating the trick. You also couldn't see Villa allowing a 2-goal lead slip again. So they have to use it as a let-off and say, you're still in the game. You're still in the game. You can get something out of the game.
That Beckham penalty was against Argentina in the 2002 World Cup, wasn't it? It was almost a replica of it. Portugal was Euro 2004. We've got a producer who's very on the ball. He's more on the ball than I am, that's for sure. As Martinez launches it forward up towards Watkins. Trusty trying to hold him off. Watkins loses out, but Trusty's conceded the corner. Down in this near side. Villa 3, Celtic 2. And the pressure appears to be continuing on the Celtic rearguard here. We've played 68 and a half minutes. And Leon Bailey comes out to take this corner on this near side. And Tielemans is actually going to take over. He takes the claim of the goaltend here off to our left. In swinging corner coming up from Yuri Tielemans. Schmeichel standing in centre of his goal, maybe just slightly further back towards his back post. Tielemans takes a good delivery, and it's headed behind by Aston Trusty. Well, he's been at the forefront of the action in the last 5 minutes. It's the American as he heads it over his own bar and behind for another Villa corner, this time from the far side, the Villa right, as they attack the goal to the left.
Yeah, I mean, they're piling on the pressure, Villa, get the ball forward. Watkins going down the sides, Trusty having to match him. This one, he's running actually back towards goal and somehow managed to get a flick on that to take it away from danger.
Well, it will be Ramsey over there to take. They're going to take it short potentially to Bailey. Well, they can't decide, obviously. It's Ramsey now leaving it for Bailey. An in-swinger with a left foot coming up. Celtic going to make a couple of changes in a moment. Bernardo and Palma are waiting to come on. In comes Bailey's corner. The header from Tielemans is blocked. Scales tries to get it away, but Villa still have it, and Watkins' shot is brilliantly saved by the right boot of Kasper Schmeichel. Celtic are bang up against the ropes here in Birmingham. It stays with 20 to play. Aston Villa 3, Celtic 2.
Yeah, it's another magnificent save. Dangerous delivery, Celtic can't get it clear. That Watson Watkins, who'd peeled over to the left-hand side, he hits it first time, low and hard into the near post. Schmeichel with unbelievable reactions with his right foot to keep it out. It's a tremendous save, but they are right up against it at this moment in time.
Tielemans right-footed corner, Trustee's there, and then it's Idah who gets the final touch to clear. Kuhn has it, looking for Yang. McGinn chasing back, Yang trying to beat him to it. John McGinn holds him off, and then was he fouled? No, says the ref, just telling him to get back to his feet. The Scotland international, we know that brute strength that John McGinn has. You're doing really well to win the ball off him in that kind of situation.
Yeah, Yang takes his touch inside, which allows McGinn to get his body across. If he takes it straight or even outside, I think he might have the pace to get away from him.
McGregor out to the far side for Taylor, and back to Scales, left of the centre circle, short ball to McGregor, and then to Scales again. Celtic are within striking distance, just one goal behind, but they are behind, and Emiliano Martinez hasn't had terribly much to do since the turnaround. And those changes are coming. Bernardo and Palma are doing many warm-ups over on the far side, because the ball hasn't been out of play at a time that Brendan Rodgers is comfortable making the sub. McGregor to Johnston, back to Trusty. A little chance there, he wanted it on his left side with Watkins hearing down on him, but he finds Schmeichel, who finds Scales. Now it's Hatate. What a brilliant save that was from Schmeichel, because Watkins got so much power in that shot. Here comes Kuhn down the right for Celtic, in the attacking third now, right hand side of the box, skips along the 18-yard line, pulls it back to Hatate, not far away. He fires it with the right foot, and it whizzes past the left-hand post. Martinez would have heard the whistle as it went past him, as the referee's whistle signals that Celtic can make those changes now. Hatate's so unlucky.
That's so close. We've got a great angle here as he picks it up, just the right edge outside the box, goes to bend it into that far corner, and it's inches past the post. But good play from Celtic, and it's much better attacking play. Get Kuhn on it, in and around that box, let him take players on. Doesn't always have to go by them, but what he does is create space for others, which he didn't for Hatate in that occasion.
Bernardo and Palma on for Yang and Engels, like for like changes. Villa 3, Celtic 2. There is about 17 minutes left. It is Martinez inside his own box. He launches it forward down this left-hand side. Comes off the back of Digne. Johnston's there, and he heads it out for a throw-in. He got there ahead of Jacob Ramsey. Changes made by Celtic. I mean, it's as you were in many ways. Yeah. It's another Celtic left winger who's got much to prove.
Yeah, and it's freshness. You know, Paulo Bernardo's another one with something to prove. And Engels is ahead of him, and he's got on to bring a bit of freshness, a bit of energy. And Louis Palma, well, Yang started ahead of him, spoken, you know, about the difficulty Yang's going to be facing with Maida and Jota once he's up to full speed. Palma comes into that bracket as well.
Talking of like for like changes, Dutchman Jan Matson has come on for Luca Digne. Matson moved to England as a youngster. He was in several academies, Feyenoord, PSV, Chelsea. Loads of loans when he was at Chelsea, and one of those was at Dortmund before he came here. Actually went to the Euros because of the injury suffered by Frankie de Jong. His chance to go to a big tournament with his country. Long ball for Villa, up towards Watkins, challenged by Trustees, wagging his finger at the referee, but the ref agrees that it was a decent challenge by Austin Trustees. That's flicked forward by Kuhn. Now Idah, he's in behind Kamara, right hand side of the box. Palma's waiting to get in there, and Idah forces the save from Martinez in his near post, and he goes behind for the corner. It's a strange save by Martinez. It was obviously creeping in at his near post there, but Luis Palma was ghosting in at the back post.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just he's trying to get whatever he can on it. I think he's taking Martinez by surprise, and that's why he's scrambling at the near post. He has to get his head up and square that to Palma. He's in at the back post. Well, he could miss it, but he's in a great position to get Celtic back level. It's great running from Idah, but I don't think a shot to near post is the right option there.
Bernardo's corner, Scales gets a little touch onto it, but it's a comfortable take for Martinez. who holds on. And it is 3-2 Villa. Tomorrow, Europa League, Matchday 8. Rangers against Union Saint-Gilloise, 8 o'clock kickoff at Ibrox. Friday night championship action, what a game that is. Falkirk against Livingston. Top of the table clash, live on the telly, BBC Scotland channel at 7:45 kickoff. Rangers USG game live here on Sports Sound on the radio. And a busy weekend as ever of league matches. We'll follow that. And the European action will be back underway in the middle of next month too. Not long to wait for more. Champions League and Europa League. What round and what opponent, we wait to see. Where Scotland's representatives as Martinez launches it long. Watkins goes down. Trusty's done well. Trusty's actually done pretty well tonight by and large. Gave away the penalty, but apart from that, here they come again though. Villa Rodgers up to the edge of the box, finds Watkins, pulls the trigger with the left foot and finds the side net. Trusty did make a challenge after the shot had gone. Watkins was left on the turf. And it stays Aston Villa 3, Celtic 2. Ollie Watkins has come to some prominence in the second half.
Yeah, the speed in which Villa attacking is when they get around the box. Speed of the pass and movement. They're just doing it so quick that Watkins is, peeling off, getting the space, getting his shot away.
There's Bailey on the far side. Celtic getting it away. It's Tielemans. And now McGinn poking it back to Konza. I mean, Villa played pretty well for a lot of that first half, but they've certainly upped the ante in the second.
Yeah, they have. I think they've come out. Obviously, the manager's clearly unhappy that they've got a 2-goal lead slip, but they've come out in the second half, fully focused. They've looked really strong and dominant, but they still only have that goal advantage as it stands.
Chip ball forward there for Watkins down the left-hand side. Shifts it back to Ramsey, infield to Tielemans. Now it's with Ramsey again, Tielemans. Of course, it was his goal that won the FA Cup, wasn't it, for Leicester City under the current Celtic manager. We'll have a special place in his heart for Yuri Tielemans, but the Belgian trying to get one over his old boss here. Goes with Kamara, turns it back into the centre circle for Konza, who shifts it there to Bogar. Now it's with McGinn in the centre circle. His old international teammate Callum McGregor staying with him. They'll know each other so well, those two. It's shifted back to Kamara. And then to Konza. They've got a real control of this game. They've got it in the palm of their hand right now, the home team. They lead 3-2.
Yeah, they do. They've got the ball, they've got possession. They're just probing, trying to move Celtic about. Adam Idah at this moment in time is standing in a right back position. That's how much they're having to work defensively against the ball. But somebody needs to get the message on Celtic, because I think as it stands it's either Real Madrid or AC Milan.
Yeah, right now, but as we've been saying, it's been changing quite a lot. Real Madrid seem to keep popping up. All these different permutations. Those Blancos are the ones that keep seeing their name there. It's maybe that Real Madrid will be Bayern Munich now have gone into that slot. So look, we'll deal with that when we get to the end of these games. It's a dramatic night. Final match day of the league phase, the Champions League. Celtic are going to make another change, and Adam Idah's not going to get a hat-trick tonight. He's going to have to settle for the 2 after 2 brilliantly worked goals. And young Daniel Cummings is going to get his opportunity here. I can almost, we're in Birmingham, I can almost hear Tom English in Glasgow as he watches the youngster come on. He's been banging them in the youth team.
Oh, what a stage to come on. What a chance to be a hero. Adam Idah has run himself into the ground. I have to say, his 2 goals, magnificent, but it's great to see the young player getting an opportunity, and what a stage to come on to.
Trusty there, going back to his goalkeeper, Schmeichel. Low ball out to the far side for Taylor, and then to Scales. Challenge from Watkins on Schmeichel. Schmeichel gets rid of it, and then Hatate sweeps it across his own box to Trusty. Trusty then out to this near side. Celtic with that new striker in there, and Daniel Cummings, the 18-year-old. It's Bernardo looking to find him with the cross, but it's cut out. Villa clear. Up onto this near side with Maatsen. Infield to Ramsey. Now out to that right-hand side for Leon Bailey. The clock ticking down. We're just about to go into the final 10 as that comes through for Rodgers. He's in. He gets the shot away, but Schmeichel makes the save, and out it goes for a throw into Villa on the far side. For Morgan Rodgers in a hat-trick. That was a wonderful chance to pick up that hat-trick.
Yeah, but Schmeichel's alert. Liam Scales has gone down. Clearly feeling. Look at Trusty's got his hands and his knees as well, and I'm not surprised the amount of work they've had to do defensively, chasing. They're not out against one striker. There was no Watkins. It's Morgan. Bailey's coming in off the right. You've got Ramsey that's making the runs. You've got runners from midfield. They've put in some amount of work tonight, particularly Scales and Trusty, because they're the ones that are having to do all the sprinting into the channels and trying to nullify the threats that Villa are posing.
Villa have it, so throw in on the far side, which is Bolden, field to McGinn. And Bogard felt he was fouled there. He wasn't. So Celtic throwing over on the far side. More activity on the Celtic bench. So Liam Scales, you would imagine, will be coming off shortly. We played 81, Villa 3, Celtic 2. Let's talk about an 18-year-old, Daniel Cummins, makes his senior Celtic debut in a Champions League game at Aston Villa.
That's incredible.
And that's schoolboy dream stuff, that, isn't it?
Of course it is, against an England international in Ezra Conson.
Yeah.
It is.
And he's trying to beat a World Cup winner.
Well, you could make up a better scenario if he scores, could you?
That would be incredible. There's Johnston dinking it down the right-hand touchline for Kuhn, but he's offside. That's lazy. He's annoyed with himself. He's remonstrating with Johnston. I think he's trying to say the ball should have come earlier.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's saying.
So another change coming here for Celtic, and you heard us talking about Liam Scales going down, but Leo Hatate going over there as well, so they're going to make a double change. Celtic, Luke McCowan is going to come on to replace Hatate. I think Hatate's quietly gone about his business pretty well tonight. And Dane Murray, who I haven't seen in the Celtic first team for a while, come on to replace Scales. So Trusty goes to left centre back, Murray to right. Celtic still in this match, just the one down at 3-2. However, the sands of time are beginning to slip through their fingers a little here.
Yeah, the last time I saw Dane Murray playing was at Hampden in front of about 800 people. And now he's coming on in the Champions League. It's incredible.
It is with Martinez. Ball out to the right-hand side. It's kept in play by Rodgers. He plays it back off Palma. Out for a Villa throw-in inside their own half. It's funny, isn't it, how our season can completely change. First half of the season, playing in the Championship, Meets Park. And as you say, he gets his opportunity here to try and make a claim, perhaps, because these young guys, they're all fighting for their futures as well as anything else. And Cummings has been linked away, moves away. Tielemans clears. Really going after it, sliding in his Taylor. Keep the ball for Celtic though. Bogard's put it out for a throw-in to Celtic. Unai Emery gives Greg Taylor the ball back. And now it's back with Austin Trusty. He finds McGregor. And then to Trusty. Schmeichel's short ball to Murray. Johnston out on this near side touchline. And it's back to Murray. The Celtic debut against Midtjylland in a Champions League qualifier right at the start of the Ange Postecoglou era. And there's Schmeichel on the 6-yard line, rolling it out to Murray on this near side, right of his own box.
Mike Nawrocki's on the bench as well, Liam, and Dane Murray's went on ahead of him.
Well, there you go. That tells you where Mike Nawrocki is in the pecking order at Parkhead these days. He's joined the start of last season. We're going into the final 5 minutes shortly. Villa 3, Celtic 2. Murray with a long ball forward, but it's going to come straight through to Konza. And he's just taking his time over it. Cummings goes to give chase. It's rolled back to Martinez, who plays it to his left for Kamara. Looking at this Villa just kind of strolling through these closing stages at the moment. Celtic, there's going to have to be some kind of sea change, some kind of set play, some kind of set piece, corner, free kick, whatever. if Celtic are going to get a point out of this.
Yeah, Villa have been in control of the second half, whether it's ball straight from Martinez through to Watkins here, knocking the ball about, just controlling. They've controlled the game. Celtic have had to work so hard without the ball, and they're not used to doing that. We know they're great at their pressing and winning the ball back, but this has been a different type of performance where they've had to shift across, try and narrow the angle, narrow the pitch, and try and close those gaps. But they put so much work and hard work and effort into it. Villa have just controlled, but there's still a glimmer that Celtic can get one. They only need one opportunity. They only need to find the net, and you don't put it past them with what they managed to do in the first half.
No, absolutely. It was 2 late goals in the first half from Idah. Gave Celtic a chance to take something from this game. There's Greg Taylor over on the far side. Back to Trusty. Level the edge of the centre circle in his own half. He plays it infield to McGregor, who turns it to Murray. Murray then out to Kuhn on the near side. McCowan's made his run ahead of him. Here's Kuhn. Now he's driving at the Villa defence here. Couldn't quite get the better of I think it was the fourth challenge that was made on him. It was Kamara, and he's brought Kamara crashing to the ground. So a free kick to Villa, just at the edge of their own box. It stays 3-2 to the home team.
Yeah, but I don't mind. It comes to Celtic knocked the ball about at times, and they went from centre back to full back or into midfield, back out again. It comes to Dane Murray, he opens up and just fires it out to Nicholas Kuhn, who's allowed to then go and get at the Aston Villa defence. He's unlucky because he steps inside, nice little nutmeg, but Kamara comes over and just snuffs out the danger. But I quite like that from Dane Murray, just firing that out to your wide man, allow him to go and run and try and create something.
Martinez taking his time over this. Free kick at the edge of his own box. The guys afterwards will pick the bones out of where the result here will leave Celtic with regards to the next phase in this tournament. Back with Martinez. As it stands, Villa would be picking up the last 16 spot and skip the next round. They're in 8th spot in the league. Celtic free kick, which they wanted to take quickly. The ref wasn't ready though.
He's telling them to take it in the Celtic half, but Bailey touches the ball exactly where Greg Taylor wants to take the free kick from. He comes from an offside position, touches the ball in his own half. Greg Taylor's absolutely spot on to be trying to take the free kick from there.
We're deep into 88th minute, almost bang on 88 now. Aston Villa 3, Celtic 2. Murray rolls it down the line to Kuhn, shielding it there from Maatsen, comes back to McGregor, shifts it to his left here for Trusty. Space out the far side for Palma, but Trusty's ball's poor. Oh no, it wasn't, he's kept it in. Wow, that looked like it was out.
You were right, he bounces into Palma on the stretch. He wants it in front of him, behind him he's stretching, but he does brilliant to keep it in. But you were absolutely spot on, it was a poor ball.
Trusty's long ball, Cummings gives chase, but it bounces all the way through harmlessly to Martinez, who holds on. Aston Villa 3, Celtic 2. And whilst clearly Celtic would never have accepted defeat, if this finishes 3-2, they'll be disappointed in not taking anything from it. But given what the scoreline was after 5 minutes, they might well have signed up for it at that point.
Without doubt, at that point you're taking it. And look, a lot of good moments in the first half.
Glad he cut off in his prime, but Bernardo should he have gone to Kuhn. He went to McCowan instead, and it breaks down. And now Rodgers is away for Villa. The man who scored both their goals. He finds Bailey on the right-hand side attacking the Celtic box, rolls it across. There's too much on it for Watkins. And it pops out to this near side where Johnston is barged to the ground, but the ref is happy with the shoulder challenge by Ramsey. And Villa have a throw-in level with the Celtic penalty spot on this near side. John McGinn down there renewing acquaintance with Celtic. He's come up against them before, he's scored against them before, he's beaten them before. And you remember that League Cup semi-final win over Celtic whilst he was a youngster at St Mirren before going on to lift the trophy. Could well have been in Celtic colours back in 2018 as it was out of play for another Villa throw-in on this near side. But The 90 minutes are just about up, and it's now in the hands of the French referee as to how long Celtic have got left to try and save this. However, Villa have the ball right up the pitch here. 3 minutes being added. We're into the first. In comes the throw. Headed away by Murray. Bernardo helps it on its way. Kamara heads clear. Celtic win it back with McCowan. Out to this near side with Cummings. Late drama, late heroics is woven into the history of Celtic Football Club. If they're going to get something out of this, they're going to have to draw from that little bit of the history. But Murray's in a nightmare, and Watkins pinched him off him in the box, and Rodgers can score his hat-trick and does! Game set, match now! It's a Champions League hat-trick for Morgan Rodgers, who slides it home. The man who gave Villa a 2-goal lead in the first 5 minutes gives them a 2-goal lead in second half stoppage time, and will no doubt rubber stamp their place in the top 8. Celtic will have to settle for an unseeded spot in the knockout playoff round. It is Aston Villa 4, Celtic 2.
Yeah, look, Dane Murray just takes a little bit too long on it. Ollie Watkins, as part of his game, you know, pressing and winning the ball back. He does manage to win it back. Schmeichel almost rescues the situation. When it comes to Rodgers, he's got so much time to find the back of the net. And you were speaking just beforehand about could Celtic get that equaliser? Well, I have to say in the second half they haven't looked like they've really threatened too much. Villa have been in absolute control, and they've missed the penalty. It's probably fair that they've scored 4 goals the way they've played.
Hit the post, one off the line from Johnston in the first half. And as James was saying, so many opportunities. Interesting, when the Villa players were celebrating the goal, John McGinn was screaming at them to get back into their own half and get ready to play on, even though it's clearly game over now. And there's your standard right there. He is a standard bearer. There's John McGinn as Kuhn loses out on this near side, and he a little pull back there at Maatsen, but he's wriggled away from him. Kuhn eventually wins it back. He was lucky a foul wasn't given against him. Just before that, as Johnston finds McGregor. We're into the final minute of 3 that were added as the long ball forward. Just evades Palma. Comes to Bailey, goes back to his goalkeeper, and Martinez wallops it forward. Murray heads it clear. Villa want more, and it's Rodgers in the halfway line. Good challenging there by a couple of Celtic players. Bernardo involved. Celtic have a man down. It's Dane Murray. He was caught in the hop there by Ollie Watkins, and it's a simple finish in the end for Rodgers. And any hat-trick's a good hat-trick, but particularly one if you can score it in the Champions League. What a memento that is for him. Yeah, without doubt. And Dane Murray, look, he's a young player. He's learning the game, and this is a test at the highest level. Ollie Watkins is a huge part of his game. His willingness to run and press and chase lost causes. That's it, the full-time whistle at Villa Park. The sound of certainly one of the best atmospheres I've encountered in a football stadium. Celtic thrilled in that first half, coming from 2 Rodgers goals down. And a double from Idah had them level at the break. Villa hit the post. Alistair Johnston cleared a Watkins effort off the line. Villa were decent in the first half. They were excellent in the second. And eventually they did too much for the Scottish champions. And Ollie Watkins scoring his first Champions League goal re-established the Villa lead. And just as Celtic were looking to push for an equaliser in second half stoppage time, Rodgers was on hand after the Murray error. Then nicked off him by Watkins, pulled it back, Rodgers finished. And it was just the 3rd defeat of the season for Celtic. Dortmund, Rangers, and now Aston Villa have beaten them. They did the hard work last week, they got over the line. They will have knockout Champions League football to look forward to in just a couple of weeks' time, really. Who they'll face, we can now settle back and find out. We'll know one of 2 teams it could be. The draw is made on Friday, but for tonight it is defeat for Brendan Rodgers, and it's victory for John McGinn and Aston Villa. Finished here in Birmingham. Aston Villa 4, Celtic 2.